welcome to Lavender Town Radio. Everybody sucks and doesn't want to do the intro, so I'll start it. My name is Effie Hansen.
Dante Mercury.
Yukieri.
Spacebar.
Very tiny intro.
It's fine.
It's fitting. It's fitting. So what are we talking about today?
What are we talking about today, Dante?
Oh, right, I'm the one that wrote the
Yeah,
idea.
you should fucking contribute. Talking about the Gen 4 remakes and if we're getting them or not.
Yeah, we're talking about
And,
Gen 4 remakes.
I thought at the time of recording, we actually have a Pokemon Direct scheduled for the next couple of days.
That we do. So there is a possibility that it will get announced.
We might see something about it, but I'm kind of hoping for some Pokemon Home news. Because I kind of want to start bringing things up that I can into my file on Sword and Shield. Yes, I bought it. No, I don't care what your opinion is of it. I enjoy it.
And on that note, that's spiky.
We're just gonna address that now. I kind of want to be able to bring stuff in because the code is in the game for the other two Gen 1 starters and the Gen 7 starters.
Right.
And so I just kind of want to bring everything in that I can because I have other things in Pokemon Bank that I can bring in, other things that can cut that I want to bring in.
Including a bunch of shinies.
I don't, honestly, I would like to see the titular Gen 4 remakes, but I don't know if they're going to go for that yet. I think, regardless of your stance on it, they can't ignore some of the problems that Sword and Shield does have. Like, alright, I'm fine with waiting for it, but I do still think they need to bring in the other Pokemon.
Like his DLC or an update.
No, just a patch. Just like a...
But make it, see, my opinion is make it like
Because
the
it's
originals
not-
where you can't have access to the rest of Pokemon until you beat the game.
Well, yeah. Or if they want to bring stuff up to like Pokemon Home or something. But I don't think that there should be a restriction on it. Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, you had access to anything.
Yeah.
Anything and everything. And I know why they said they couldn't do it. It's because they were putting the details on the sprites. They gave them HD graphics, made them bigger, and reused the assets for Gen 7. Same rival like movement sprite. Like Hop just spazzes just like How did. Like, oh wow, yeah. No, the budget obviously went into the Dynamax and Gigantamax shit they were pushing. Which I like the mechanic.
Yeah, they promote that.
I am one of the
that.
people that thinks that there really isn't an excuse. From like a consumer standpoint. If we're coming off of Pokemon games that you had access to every Pokemon. Like, I could understand the argument of not being able to fit things in the new games back in, like, Gen 4, Gen 5. When it was, Gen 4, not all the Pokemon made it, and nobody really said anything. There weren't as many Pokemon, granted, but it's like, it's a technology thing.
We have the technology now.
Yeah, and it's like back in Gen 4, no one did because there was nothing. And like, I'm ranting on a tangent. I'm bring it back to the point here. There's no excuse now. The technology's there. Back in, like I was saying, back in Gen 4, like you couldn't because that was just the technology for the time. They could barely make the engine that ran faster than a snail's pace. Like that's one of everyone's gripes with Gen 4 is the engine isn't that great, but that's because that was the technology at the time. But there is a large gap in difference on what a Nintendo DS can do versus what a Nintendo Switch can do, especially since we've proven that the 3DS can do it.
Right.
So obviously it's not a technological issue.
So why are we waiting on it?
That's the thing. Like I said, I'm fine with waiting if it's going to happen. And we know it can happen, and they're going to try to probably just poo-poo it and like, no, it's not that bad, it's fine.
They could at least
I
afford...
think even if they do that, they should still give us Gen 4 remakes in the next year or two.
Yeah, but I think they need to address Sword and Shield. I think one thing that we can all agree on is that they are not the games they should be for the new Pokemon Switch.
They're not what they should have been.
Yeah, and I think I want to see Gen 4 remakes, but I don't want them now. Because I don't think
Sword and Shield needs work
Yeah,
first.
and if they do try to make Gen 4 remakes right now, it would be a conflict of interest and they would rush them through and they would suffer the same issues.
Exactly.
So I want to see the Gen 4 remakes, but I don't think it's in the cards for them to do it right now.
See,
And I don't think anyone wants them right now because everyone that's mainly playing Pokemon is on the train of, guys, finish the game.
I think the key to the Pokemon games,
I'm not even blaming Game Freak, because here's the thing: the passion was there. You can see it. You can see
Absolutely.
it definitely in points, but I think they had a deadline and they didn't have enough people for a fast deadline. I think that the publishers made them rush it out
and
to meet fucking sales.
The key to their game,
Pokemon was never on a yearly release for the longest time, and
but now it is. It's become
after Pokemon Go's reception, Nintendo realized, wait, there's money in this, and after Pokemon like X and Y, they started just
It's not even
burning them out.
Nintendo. It's Creatures Inc. and it's
Yeah.
the Pokemon Company itself.
Yeah.
Game Freak was overworked and was given too small of a deadline to do what they wanted to do, and that's why
The
the
Pokemon Company
National
wanted to
Pokedex wasn't in it.
Yeah.
All the Pokemon Company wanted at that point was money. And I'm not
And-
talking shit about the Pokemon Company because I love the games.
absolutely, yeah.
But you can tell that after the reception Pokemon Go got, and what it did for Nintendo as a company, just in like the stock market, they started seeing dollar signs, and that became the priority.
Yeah, but there's money in taking time. You want to know a good case in that happening? Kingdom Hearts 3. You know how long we waited for that game?
Better part of a decade.
Yeah, and it
Actually,
shows.
We waited 10 years for Final Fantasy 15.
And it
And it's
shows.
a fantastic game.
There's money in taking time and perfecting a game.
Alright,
And
current
they're
example.
just not doing
to
that.
this day, current example, the development time for The Last of Us 2 was extended. It was supposed to be releasing sometime next month. It's been pushed back into like
May.
late spring, early summer.
Do you know how much?
Because Naughty Dog puts the time in for the games because they know it'll be worth it.
They know what
Because
it
The
takes
Last
to
of
make
Us
a good
won
game.
Game of the Year. They've known what it takes to make good games. They've had it since the 90s.
And Square keeps pushing the
Every single game that company releases is Game of the Year material. And like I said, The Last of Us straight up won it.
for
I
sure.
am perfectly fine waiting those extra few months for The Last of Us 2 because I know it's going to be so worth it.
Absolutely.
It's like Square Enix kept pushing back the Final Fantasy VII remakes because they wanted it to be perfect.
Both of
And-
these are subjects we're going to be bringing up in another episode.
A fucking Pokemon game in 2020 and they don't take their time with it, I'm gonna fucking freak out. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Unless it's the Diamond and Pearl remakes because they already have a basis for it.
Yeah. But like
They
I said, I
shouldn't
want
come
them
out
to
this year,
fix
though.
the Gen 8 nonsense first before they rush that because that just falls back into the issue we've been talking about
Mhm.
of it being rushed and not complete.
And I think that's the big concern
There is
going into
enough
a Gen
hype.
8 remake.
Yeah, and there's enough hype behind a Gen 4 remake where it doesn't matter. If they announce it and produce it, it'll still sell.
Just because it's a Gen 4 remake and people have been looking forward to it
Yeah.
for so long.
So they could rush it if they wanted to, and I'm really hoping they
But
don't.
I fear they would make the same mistake they did with Fire Red and Leaf Green, which, don't get me wrong, are fantastic, but
The
it's almost an
quintessential way
exact
to-
replica of the original games with
Which-
updated graphics, which isn't necessarily a terrible
And
thing.
this was before their remakes became a pattern. This was their first attempt, so they didn't want to risk changing too much because they know the people that would buy it are the people that played Gen 1 when they were a kid. Or maybe the next generation of Pokemon trainers getting into it, or getting a feel of how it started to go with the new games for Gen 3.
Mhm.
Because I know that's how I got exposed to it. Because
Mhm.
my first Pokemon game was Pokemon Crystal. The first Gen 1 game I played and completed was Pokemon Fire Red, not Red or Blue. So it shows that it works, they just didn't change too
Ugh,
much.
that shows my age. That was my first game. I was like 3.
The only things they really changed was they
added the
Sevi
Sevi
Islands.
Islands.
But that was a good touch.
It was.
And since it was
Absolutely.
remade from Gen 3, after you beat the Elite Four, you get to see some of the Gen 2 Pokemon that you missed. You get Gen 1, you get the separate games for Gen 3, and then you get a little bit of Johto. Just a little bit of Gen 2 to really kind of make you cock an eyebrow towards getting a copy of Gold, Silver, or Crystal.
But there's good in those games.
Yeah.
But back to Zeffy's point.
Is if they did that again, I don't think it would be as well received. Because that was the first time, like you said, that they've ever done a remake.
Yeah.
And with the Heart Gold and Soul Silver remakes, they did a fantastic job. They added new elements. You had
Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver remain some of the highest selling Pokemon games in the world.
They were fantastic.
Yeah. And then
Copies still
Omega
go
Ruby.
So, do you think the Gen 4 remake should bring something new to the table in terms of the Pokemon series like that?
I think
Like an added peripheral or something like
All
that?
the other remakes have.
Yeah.
Like the Sebi Islands and the Delta episode.
And with the Switch, what they could do, and they're never going to do it because it's so far-flung and it's so much extra work. But I've been campaigning for the longest time to have another multi-region game. We haven't since Gen 2, and I know it would be a lot of extra work for the devs, but I would love. It's literally not going to happen.
I think the players would love it.
It's probably never going to happen. Like, I'm not genuinely expecting
Hell, I
this
know,
from
I'd
Game
love
Freak at any point, but I'm just saying, like, make a multi-region game. Let people, like, pick what region they want to start at, and then have them, like, travel and beat all the regions and all the Elite Fours. And, like, you could do it so that the Elite Four isn't really the, like, one Elite Four or the other. It is a, like, you go there at the end, and you face, like, an assortment of the best champions.
I've never played the originals, so I've got nothing.
Which is true. I didn't think I forgot about that.
Yuki's still relatively new to the Pokemon games. It's something we're going to break.
Especially since, we plan on clearing every Pokemon game
Front to back.
in our Let's Try to Play series, starting with the first gen games.
Yeah, we're going to start right where it began, and we're just going to go through.
Wow, makes me feel old. 1996.
Here we are.
Yeah, so we're going to start off by
Okay,
showing
listen
off.
here, cackly candy.
We're
Shut up.
going to basically start by showing you the glitch fest that is Gen 1.
Not my favorite, but definitely a great one, and where it all started.
Crits were based on speed, and if you knew how to work around glitches, you could just kind of poop yourself in a Mew. Yeah, here.
If you use the dire hit, your critical chance reduced.
Or focus energy tanked your crit rate.
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fucking fun.
It's gonna be a wild ride, and I look forward to it.
And I'm looking forward to doing more episodes of Lavender Town Radio with you guys.
Hell yeah.
It's gonna be awesome.
All right, before we go, I would like to give a special thanks to Kumu for letting us use the Lavender Town remix
Yes, the
for
music we've had
our
Big
intro.
shout out.
entire time. Thank you.
Huge shout out to you guys. We love you. Your remixes are great, and I think that's everything.
If anyone wants to listen to any of their tunes, we'll have their link in the description. Check them out. They actually have some really cool stuff.
Yeah. I think that's a wrap on the first episode of Lavender Town Radio, everyone.
Sounds good.
This is Void Cat, signing out.
Now get back to catching them all, nerds.